All right. So I haven't gotten very far with this, but the whole idea of the jam is that the theme is loops. And I sort of wanted to just make a sort of like a racetrack type of deal with a bunch of loops that you gotta go through. I'm just sort of building it with some primitive shapes. I modeled this loop in Blender. I'm not the best 3D modeler, but what can you do? And yeah, just testing out a few things. I started out, and I did not like it, by trying out to use the wheel colliders in Unity. Um, so I had this little like cart thing going on. There it is. I couldn't get it to work properly. I've worked with wheel colliders before, and I can never make it feel good. So I tried just following a few tutorials for the wheel colliders, making an arcade type car. There was another one. I even like downloaded a package from the Unity Asset Store. Also was not very satisfying. And then in the end, after a bunch of messing around with that, I decided, you know what, play to your strengths. Um, I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel quite literally. Instead, I'm going to make a hover car. And sure, I'm using some of the Unity physics, but I'm not going to rely too heavily on them. um, I went through a bunch of the math to make it hover. Um, let's see. Yeah, I don't usually stream, so I have no idea what I'm doing here. It says the bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Let's go ahead and not worry about that. Cancel that. Okay. So, yeah, just quite a bit of math. I'll go ahead and explain a bit of it, actually. There we go. All right, so we'll go here to Scala Draw, my favorite. Let me just reset the canvas. Cool. So we have a track, right? Let's just say this is a track and my car is like right here. Not my car, my hover car. It's just sort of hovering above the ground. Essentially, what I want to do is to make sure that the car is always aligned with sort of the normal of the track, or just align with the track, basically. The normal comes into play, but we'll get to that. Okay. And we also want it to hover at a specific like location from the ground. That one's more or less simple. We can just cast a ray out from the car, see where it hits, and compare where it is and how much further away from the floor we want it to be. And we go ahead and apply a force in the normal direction of the floor to keep the car in the air. So just quickly go here. I haven't even played it yet, but let's take a look at it. It's loading up. There we go. So I give it a couple seconds to start. And you saw how it sort of like bounced. That's the force being applied to keep the car in the air. Then if we go to this little edge here, boom, it gets aligned to that one. It has some auto correction with a bunch of physics to let it sort of align gradually. And the camera follows in the same suit. Ooh. There we go. So yeah, I've been just playing around with this, trying to make it feel good. I do have an issue right now with the mouse that I wanted to try and fix. So let's see. Essentially, right here. Basically comparing the previous mouse position with the current mouse position in the X to apply this torque here. So you have like lateral movement and the angular movement. So that would be, it's not pitch, it's not roll either, it's just lateral movement and the yaw. All right. Give me one sec. Just drinking my coffee. Oh, look at that. The face mesh gets it just sort of stops every once in a while. All right, let's see. Oh, I see. So I think this is a sort of naive method of doing it. It certainly worked, and it worked fantastic, but in Unity we have access to get access for the mouse X according to the Unity documentation. There. Let's see if that actually works. That'd be great if it does. And also let's see if it feels good. So with the previous method, it felt pretty good. There we go. All right, it does work. It's just very slow. Easy fix. We have angular acceleration. Let's bump that up. Let's say 20. That might actually be too high now. We can test it out. All right, boom. Yeah, that's pretty high now. It's gonna be pretty hard to control. So let me bump it down. Let's say 5. Okay, it's much slower. Not the greatest, but let's give it a try. Oh, the draw distance there is not great. All right, let's go. So yeah, it's pretty hard to control at times. Right there at the edge, there's a lot of drift, a lot of slippiness, but I kind of like it. It gives it a sort of feeling of you gotta really learn the controls to master it. The camera is certainly an issue. Oh. Okay, so these are just cylinders connected to each other. I have no idea why that's happening. There is nothing here. It's just a normal cylinder. It's a collider, not right? Oh, you know what I think it is? It's a cylinder, but in Unity, don't cylinders have the collider of a capsule, basically? Let's see. I think I have the hidden. Yeah, it's a capsule collider. That's not great. I wonder if, just very naive, but if we replace the capsule collider with the mesh collider, if that might make things a little better. What am I looking for here? Yes, the colliders. Where's the colliders? Capsule collider. There. So yeah, when we're starting off, oh, there's 2 cylinders here. Yep, okay. So let's give that a try. I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna work the way that I expect it to, but I want to give it a try anyway. It might just be that, yeah, that should work. It might just be that it performs worse. But hey, it's a game jam. We don't care about no performance. What am I doing here? Mesh collider. All right. Let's try that again. So yeah, it's very dependent on the shape of the colliders, because it's basically calculating the normals, the point of contact. Feels pretty good. Just gotta adjust some of the values. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There we go. Boom. Yeah, when you're in the air, it's sort of trying to look for other colliders. But at the moment, I'm just using the downward direction of like the local transform of this object. And it works, but if it gets rotated mid-air and there's nothing in the local downward direction, it's just gonna kind of look like it's floating, slowly falling due to gravity. And there is gravity, so if I stop moving here, it's gonna sort of start sliding down to the bottom. And the force, surprisingly, it is enough. Well, I guess it's very high to keep it where it should be. Let's try going backwards. Yeah, I was having an issue before where these planes, they're one directional when it comes to the colliders, at least. Works now. I just changed them basically to a cube collider. Oh yeah, going outside the loop. Oh no, 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 no. Ooh. Yeah, I definitely need to add that functionality to detect the nearest like collision with the raycast all around me, so that if I'm just floating in the air, I don't get stuck. Because right here, it should, like in my opinion, be possible to get closer to this surface and then sort of attach to this surface instead of still being attached to the bottom. And that could be very easily done. We just check what collision from that raycast is closer. If we just send raycast all around us in all directions, not that many, but just a few, and then sort of calculate it that way. I'm just gonna go around here and this way. I'm gonna try to go full speed here. Oh, it does stick to it. Oh, okay, gravity should take effect. There we go. That was very disorienting, but it's okay. Let's take a shortcut here. And technically, if our guy's hovering high enough, we could maybe hop onto the railing here. Yeah. There we go. Oh, I went too far. Luckily, I can just restart. But yeah, very nice. Very, very nice. Let me stop it. I want to adjust some of those values. Okay. Hover car. We could modify the base spring and the alignment strength, because right now it's very, very quick. It happens very quickly. Those forces are too strong. Could make it smoother if we modify it. Let me just see if I'm streaming for no one. Hey, no one. Let me just see if the stream is actually working. I'm just trying to load it up on my phone here. I don't really see it. Might not even be working. Oh no, never mind. Here it is. See the quality. At the very least, it looks okay-ish. Yeah, I won't worry too much about it. It's just for fun. Also, Visual Studio has this weird bug, this restore up doesn't go away. I found a solution, which is to just reinstall it, but I'm not gonna waste time with that right now. Okay, let's go to our camera controller here. It's a very simple thing. For the position, if we do it too fast, it's gonna be too janky. If we do it too slow, it's gonna sort of drag behind. Let's make it a little bit slower. Same for the rotation. Okay. And then let's modify the values for the hover car. So the spring, we're gonna lower it just a tiny bit. Alignment, that's if the hover car is sort of rotating along its like forward axis, it's gonna try to correct itself to get back to like upright. Let's also lower that a little bit. We have a max speed. This max speed is it's just if you have reached a speed. We're gonna deactivate the acceleration, basically. We have that much acceleration. Angular acceleration, we just tested it. Feels all right. All right, let's try it. There we go. Yeah, this left and right, it is pretty slow. Like the camera. We move it like that. Yeah, if you're making very sharp turns, you lose track of the capsule and everything. Not great, but let's see here. If we change the platform, so we go on a downhill, the car will sort of like bounce up and down. Let's see how that feels now. Okay, the bounce is a lot less. The camera movement is a lot less too. All right. You know what? This actually feels pretty good now. You know, ooh. We were not able to get. Why was that? Fairly certain it's because of the spring. So the spring is too low now. Here's the base spring strength. That's 50. Did we have it set to something else before? Ooh, we went too far. Alignment strength. Base. Damping factor. How do I use the damping factor? Let's see. We have the velocity along normal. Getting the dot product of our up vector and our linear velocity. Multiply That's where's my damping factor here? Okay, I wasn't even using it there. That's for the velocity. Apply damping. Oh, I see, I see. So the damping factor is not even for that. It's for the rotation. Cool. This doesn't work. Remove that. This. So yeah, I did generate a little bit of code here. All right. The total hover force is the spring force plus the damping force. And the damping force, base damping strength. I'm gonna move this, because that might actually be a little bit too high. It'd be nice if we just have it publicly available up here. We can modify it. There it is. Let's put it to 5. So this should make it so that it might be a little bit more forced. The bouncing up and down, yeah. There's less damping there, but it might help when it comes to hitting this surface here. So this one's fine. The next loop is much smaller. This is where we had an issue before. Yeah, it hits it. Oof. Yeah, I think to make it feel much better, we might need to grab some smoother models. Because the sudden change, like right there. Ouch. Yeah, so that's not great at all. Did we survive? We did. I'm gonna try just going around this sphere here. Yeah, so going around this sphere. Ooh, it's super smooth, super nice. That's nice. It's when I switch from this to another platform that we get the jankiness. Let me play unfocused or focused, whatever. Just because I want to easily be able to change these. All right, if the damping strength is just 1, it's a lot lower. It's going to make our thing much more bouncy like that. But it also means that when we're on these ramps, the force being applied happens faster. Yeah, see? It does help a little bit. Can I get on top of that? Ooh! That's cool. So if we go straight on, we still hit it, but sort of works. Ooh. I wonder if we increase the size of the raycast, it might make it feel better. Like when we hop off the cylinder there, it cannot detect the ground anymore because it's a little bit too far. I have it set to 8. Is that far away enough? All right. Continue this a little later.